Welcome to ADIPEC. My name is Johannes Wiek. I'm the managing partner for energy, resources and industrials at Deloitte. And with me here today, I have Ellis Rensforth from Wood. And before we start talking about smart operations, which is the topic of today, let me hear a little bit about yourself.
Thanks, Johannes. Yes, as you say, my name's Ellis Renforth. I am President of Operations with Wood for Europe, Middle East, Africa, and Caspian.
I'm looking forward to this conversation. Really, the topic of today is smart operations. So really, how can we use digital tools for energy service companies? And if we start, you're serving clients across the entire value chain from design through to decommissioning. And how do you see kind of your strategies? How is the industry developing digital strategies to support your clients?
Yeah, so I guess maybe the first point to mention is we're not doing anything different to what we've done for the last 30, 40 years as far as complexity and type of project. The difference, as you touch on it there, is the digitalization and the new tech that we're able to bring to that delivery, whether that's in front end, EPC execution, or indeed in late life asset operations. There's no single solution as far as digitalization goes. It's a collection of tech that we're able to bring throughout the phases to make the delivery cheaper, quicker, more efficient, and ultimately drive costs down for the client and be able to deliver similar scopes quicker.
I suppose one distinction we might make is between brownfield and greenfield projects and development, because I mean, you at the one hand you need to cater for existing infrastructure, etc. On the other, I guess the room to maneuver is bigger on greenfield. How would you sort of see the markets are different there when it comes to smart operations for you?
Yeah, maybe an answer to that, if I was to focus on some technology that would bring both to greenfield and brownfield, and maybe that will explain the difference. So in the new build greenfield space, a lot of it is tech and design. So a couple of examples, the digital twin technology that we're now implementing, the quality of the digital twins is far greater. The accuracy of the digital twins allows us to develop our designs with more confidence, whereas previously the digital twin maybe didn't have the accuracy in modeling such that you could go straight to fabrication, as an example. So the advancement of the technology in that space helps the quality of the delivery. Possibly another example in the greenfield space would be use of the cloud.
Yeah.
So, ever more so now, the larger greenfield projects are multi-location delivery. And by utilizing the cloud as a single point to store data, to access data, it allows for that global execution, pretty much 24/7 delivery. Depending on where the execution centers are in the world. You can almost pass off the design with confidence that you're accessing a single source of truth.
Yeah.
And sorry, just to the brownfield piece, it moves into a different space there because a lot of that is data management, an existing asset. How do we drive smarter performance and ultimately smarter efficiency for clients? We've probably never been in a period where we've had more accessible data through, a network of sensors, monitors. What we now do is utilize AI, particularly on existing assets, to be able to gather that data and interpret that data at pace. Really good for cost efficiency, for driving down maintenance programs and optimizing them, and ultimately reducing OpEx cost, but also lengthening life of field.
Yeah, it's really improving the total cost of ownership, but also improving performance, faster delivery, and I suppose lower cost for the clients, which is normally a nice combination, I would say. But Spinning further on the digital tools, does this also help you in standardizing more deliveries?
Certainly, yes, it does. And I guess technology allows us to learn at a faster rate. We're able to standardize design and transfer that across the different clients. What we do see as a service provider, we have access to a breadth of data, delivery data, that any single one of our clients doesn't have. They will obviously have full access to their data, but we maybe have 20, 30, 50 clients, and we see similar data sets from all of them. So what the technology allows us to do is to adopt best practice, to cherry pick best practice from all of our different clients and cross-pollinate that and bring it to each of our clients. So it's quite powerful.
Yeah. Do you see any, in terms of standardization, I guess that you're also dependent on the client's ability to standardize. Do you see any differences between different regions or across the globe where you are servicing your clients?
Yeah, I guess the ability to standardize is often driven by the repeatability of the scope.
Yeah.
If it's pipe laying, it's quite a standard type of scope. If you get more bespoke brownfield, then it maybe doesn't lend itself as much to that approach. But certainly technology plays a big part in standardization. To your point on geographies, historically, the industry has seen standardization in some areas where it is more applicable than others. For example, historically, the likes of the Gulf of America, um, they are more able to standardize even their offshore assets because the product that they process is has more commonality. So they can standardize the topsides equipment more than, say, the North Sea, where each reservoir has very distinct characteristics. So the designs are more bespoke. So standardization is allowed if the circumstance lends itself towards that.
Yeah. And if you look at collaboration between various players, you have your clients, typically operators, you are an EPC, you have equipment providers. How do you see digital innovation is really bringing those together? Do you see kind of how does that work out really?
Um, I'd probably suggest true collaboration starts with good contracting models where each company within that alliance, let's say, that arrangement, that relationship, has an opportunity to gain from the project, the scope. So contracting models that allow the technology providers to bring their technology to the market. Contracting models that allow operators to drive down their costs, and maybe service providers like ourselves, we have a contracting model that if we can demonstrate savings to the client, we realize a percentage of those savings. So it's a win-win-win, if you like. Exactly.
But do you see kind of the industry moving more and more towards that direction? Others would argue that it's more sort of transactional where the operator is throwing risk down the value chain and thereby you increase the overall token cost of ownership. Do you see any movement in that?
Again, I would suggest there's a regional bias to that. More mature markets where the developments are economically marginal, that drives collaboration because there needs to be mutual benefit for all parties. Maybe geographies where it's not so marginal and there are greater levels of production, greater opportunities. You do still see marginalized contracting models where risk is passed into supply chain, and that can be a difficult place to operate.
Yeah.
Because sometimes supply chain may be asked to take on more risk than the model that is commensurate with the model.
Yeah. But it's interesting because, I mean, the topic here is really about deploying digital technologies. But what you're really saying is that we need the business innovation around it to really exploit the potential.
Yes.
But I wonder, last question, Alice, if we're looking forward, maybe 5, 10 years, where do you see digital technology and smart operations evolving in your industry?
I've touched on quite a few technologies that you could certainly categorize under the smart operations, smart delivery. I think we will continue to see advancements of those technologies. There's been a lot of talk this week on autonomous operations, which at first thought you think that's kind of human-free operations, but absolutely not. I don't think we will, or we're a long way away from getting to, fully human-free, whether that's in design or operation, because we can use technology to drive faster, more accurate decision making, but we'll always still need that human interface to ensure that the decisions that are being made, and the designs that are being developed ultimately, are the correct choices and designs for the problem at hand. But I do see a move towards more and more autonomous operation, but I think we're a way off getting there fully.
So it sounds like you have a realistic balance between technology and optimism and realism. So, well, this was what we managed to cover today. Thank you so much, Elliot,
Johannes?
and see you next time at Audipec.